Ciao and welcome. These are red onions from our garden. Julia's been growing them throughout the winter. We picked them about a month ago and she has been drying them. And today I will be making a recipe where I pickle them or marinate them. And this is a side dish which you can use just with bread if you like, as a rustic dish, or you can make a salad. Today I will be making the marinated onions, and then they'll stay in the fridge overnight, and tomorrow I will put together a salad using chicken and potato, but that's tomorrow's recipe. Of course you can use any onions you like, not necessarily red onions. White onions work very well also, they are a little bit sharper. I prefer using red onions because they are sweeter and a little bit more colourful. Now, there are different ways on how you can do this. If you've got a mandolin, use one of those. Be careful with your fingers because they can be a little bit tricky. And the idea here is that they are as thinly sliced as possible. And obviously, with a mandolin, it's ideal because you can see that I can go up and down. They're all the same size and they're perfect. However, not everybody has got a mandolin. And I always say that my channel is also about accessibility. And I do not necessarily always like to make things easy. So, basically, well, I don't want to make it difficult, but if you do not have a mandolin, by all means, use a knife, and that is what I'll do today. Make sure that your knife is nice and sharp, and I would suggest that you give yourself a good base, because actually that is the most important thing. So I'm going to cut this one in half over here. Perfect. Then I'll go on the side. Make sure that your nails are vertical so that you don't cut yourself, and then very gently just do some very thin slices, just like this. You do not have to go fast. I know that there are many cooking videos where people go absolutely 100 miles an hour. No need, no rush, just do it calmly. And actually I think they look quite nice. Actually they look better. And there you go, look, very, very thinly. And if you take your time, you're safe. Make sure that you got a good base, and off you go. So I'll chop the rest, and then I'll show you how I make my marinade. Of course you can use these onions for any fillings or side dish, or in a sandwich, burgers, sausages, entirely up to you, just like any way you would use onions. I'm now making my marinade, and I'm starting with a couple of heaped teaspoons of honey. I've used 7 medium-sized onions. My recommendation is the more the merrier, because one of the things that you want to do is not make enough. And if you make more than what you intend to, like I am today, I just gonna find another jar because I think I've got more than what I can fill in my little glass jar. Honestly, you will not regret it. Something which I like to do, which is different from many similar recipes, is to place everything inside a bowl and add them together first. This is white wine vinegar. I'm going to use 4 heaped spoons, by the way. Combining the onions with the salt, the pepper, the honey and the vinegar first ensures that they are all equally balanced, and I think gives you a better outcome. Some people put them in the jar first and then they add these spices. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I prefer it this way because you can see that actually I'm not going in and making sure that everything is actually properly distributed across all of my onions. And if, like me, your honey is a little bit dense, ensure that you just go round and round until it's totally diluted. And I think I'm pretty much there now. Okay, this is a very simple recipe. Here is my first jar, and I'm going to start moving my onions inside it. This is something you can do with a spoon or with your hands. I think it's quicker to do it with your hands because you can go in and press them and ensure that they are properly compacted. The more compacted they are, the better, because I will obviously be topping this up with olive oil, and that will ensure that I do not end up using too much oil, and that'll be fine. So that is jar number 1, and let's do the second. Should be plenty to do that also. This is the sort of job which will make you really emotional for obvious reasons. Now I've got a little bit of the vinaigrette left, so I'm going to share it across both of my jars. And the last ingredient, as I mentioned before, is olive oil. So very gently, otherwise it will just come out. Start filling the jar, and you will see that if you do it slowly, it will find its way down, and it will fill all of the various cracks and all the various gaps. If you stop a moment and just push it gently with your spoon, you'll see where you are. So I can just carry on a little bit more. And that's done, and I'll do the second next. That's perfect. Now let's see if I'm gonna have a problem. That's wonderful. Here's the lid for the other one. And they are ready, but best to leave them in the fridge for at the very least 12 hours. The onions will soften up, and they will obviously inherit the flavor from the vinegar and the honey and the salt and pepper, and also of course vice versa. So 12 hours from now, tomorrow I will, in the fridge, tomorrow I'll make a very simple salad using tomatoes, potatoes and chicken, and this will go in the salad, one of the applications. Thank you for now, see you tomorrow. Welcome back. They've been in the fridge 24 hours, and as there is a considerable amount of vinegar, you will notice that the acidity of the vinegar prevents the oil from going solid. So actually you can keep them in the fridge a long time if you wish. You see that I've been quite busy getting ready for my salad, but before I do that, I wanted to just taste to see what they're like on their own. I mentioned that you can actually just eat them on top of rustic bread. I've got here some ciabatta rolls which I have halved, spread a little marinade of olive oil and oregano, and cook them on the griddle after I griddle some chicken for later. So I'll just try this to see what it's like. I'm really keen to tell you, and hopefully it'll be lovely. Let's have a look. Oh god, they've lost completely the sharpness of onions. They're so fresh and so beautiful, really mild and really delicious. I'll keep it on one side and I'll carry on munching while I cook. And I'm going to show you now how I'm going to make dinner for tonight, which is our salad. The first thing I want to share with you is my potato experiment. I have boiled a few potatoes. I'm not going to use them all, but I've got here one which I have peeled before I boiled it, and then the rest are all boiled with the skin on. The reason why that is because when I watched my mum in the past cooking potatoes, she never used to peel them, and she always used to boil them with the skin on. And actually I never asked her why, but I googled it last night, and actually I have realized that apparently cooking potatoes with the skin on, it's very good because it prevents potatoes from getting soggy on the inside. And if you think about it, the skin acts as a barrier, and it prevents from becoming too fluffy, and also retains a lot of the texture. So I thought actually I'll try, and I've got one with without the skin, and I'm going to peel them. Also, obviously, to peel them once they're cooked is very easy. I've actually boiled them and left them in water after I boiled them, and they are now nice and cold. But let's just try this little experiment so that I can tell you. So I'll try a little bit of the potato which I've boiled, and I peeled it beforehand. Tastes like a potato. And let's try one which I boiled with the skin. Oh, definitely. That's far more potatoey than this one. It's a big difference. I did not realize. Actually, something I've learned, so definitely worthwhile doing. And if you are making a potato salad or anything like this, definitely worthwhile boiling them with the skin on, and then chop them afterwards. Also, the color is different. I'll place them here under this camera so that hopefully you'll be able to tell. The one on my right hand is a potato which I've boiled with the skin on, and this is the one which I've boiled after I've peeled. So you can tell this is definitely more potatoey. I have removed the other potatoes, I've got plenty. I'm now chopping them in manageable bites, a bit like if you're making a potato salad. And I'll move them in my salad bowl. I have halved 250 grams of cherry tomatoes. These are fresh, they can go in. And here is my first tip should you choose to make this salad. I've got a little strainer and I'm going to use this jar here, and I'm going to drain all of my onions inside a bowl and make sure that I push as much of my oil out as possible. That's good. And these ones can go back with the rest of the salad. Perfect. Here is my jar of olives, which I keep in olive oil. I'm going to add all of them, so they're going to be approximately 80 to 100 grams altogether. Perfect. And here is my next move. So oil from the jar with the onions, oregano goes in, 1 teaspoon. Very gently, using a potato peeler, I'm removing the zest from 1 lemon, and oops, you can get back in there, and that will start marinating with everything else. Little bite. These are capers, and I'm going to get 1 teaspoon and place it on my chopping board, and using my knife I'm going to chop them in little pieces, as little as I can. This will ensure that the flavor goes a long way without taking over the entire salad, and they can go in. These are a couple of mild chilies. They're green. You can also use red if you like, or if you wish you can also use chili flakes. Be careful if you use chili flakes. Ensure that they're not too spicy, or too hot I should say, otherwise they could take over. They are mild, so I'm happy. And this is ready, and I'll give it a good mix with my teaspoon first. And whilst this marinade, I will deal with my chicken. As I mentioned, I griddled this earlier. All I did, by the way, is to chop a chicken breast in half using a sharp knife. Then I put a little salt and some pepper, and I just griddled, nothing else. Not even olive oil, I did not add anything, just as it is. And it's actually really nice way to cook chicken breast. And I'm now slicing it in little soldiers, just like this. You can see that it's cooked perfectly. Of course, if you wish, you can substitute chicken with fish, or if you prefer a vegetarian version, just don't put any fish or any chicken. It's perfectly as it is. And here we go. I'm going to pick the majority of the chicken and add it here. I'll leave a few just for the end. And here is my marinade, and I can add that on top. Perfect. And I'll do it with my hands now, which is easier, and I'll mix everything together. And using my hands is a really good idea, because I can make sure that I don't damage the potatoes. I can go in very gently and marinate everything perfectly. And dinner is almost ready. All I've got to do is to serve a portion and show you what I've got in mind. So in it goes on the plate. I kept a little chicken, so I'll place some in here and some in here, just like this. And I'll finish with a little parsley at the very top. And of course, I'm going to have to try a piece of chicken, a piece of onion, a tomato, and a little potato all together. It works really well. And don't forget to add some bread, and dinner is ready. When I mentioned to Julie what I was cooking, she said, by Sunday. She wanted a Sunday roast. I said, don't worry, you will not be disappointed. And trust me, if you make this, you will not be disappointed. Or just make this. Buon appetito. Ciao ciao. Thank you for watching.